on? What's going on? What's going on? Back at it again. Happy Monday. Gonna get some power hour trading in here on ES potentially. Got quite a sell-off going on right now. I should have been on a little bit earlier today. It's kind of what I was looking at doing last week. Jumping on when I started to see a move occur, but yeah, this thing's pushing down pretty hard at the moment. Gonna throw an anchored VWAP. Been playing around a lot with anchored VWAPs. This is way too many on my chart. I'll get rid of some of these for now. But what's up? Welcome on. If you're not in Discord, hop in the free Discord. If you're from Discord, thanks for jumping on. Welcome to another free live trading session here on YouTube. I am logged into my Top Step X account. This is a fresh 50K. I've got an enormous amount of these rolling. If you didn't catch my last meme that I just made, today is the last day to get started for $19 with Top Step X. Their code is just TopStepX, no spaces, all lowercase. This is the platform itself, uses a trading view chart. You can do your own research, learn all about it, make sure it's right for you. As you know, nothing I say or do or show here is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm also a Top Step affiliate, so if you see me share a code, I stand to make money from that code. Real small amount, but in the interest of full transparency, to know that there is a conflict of interest in me speaking about the broker that I use. I'm a Top Step affiliate with that little code. Explained in chat in the Discord. I'm not really interested in the small amount that Top Step has to offer for people using the code. The really minuscule amount. You could picture the price of the combines, what they are, what percent they would pay on that is pretty minimal. But maybe to get some volume going, as you guys know, I've given out quite a few Top Step accounts. I'd like to say, hey, look, I've got a whole bunch of people that are buying these accounts. I'm giving out a dozen of them in this month. What do you think? Can we run something together? Can we get some promotion going that would allow me to give out more to you guys? That's kind of the thought process behind it, but I like to be transparent about anything that I would be that would be a conflict of interest. I haven't made a single dollar from it. I'm not due a dollar from them, so there's that. But you can grain of salt it from that. So yeah, looking at ES here on the 1 minute right now, just kind of waiting to see if this is going to continue. Again, interesting to see how these levels act as support and resistance. This is why I like my really stupidly simple horizontal levels and really VWAP. That's pretty much all I'm messing with right now. I've continued to do more research with trading views, order flow, volume footprint chart. It's the beta. There's people that are saying that the delta and the order flow and the price on this isn't actually using order flow. It's using like tick volume and data. So I'm still watching it. I still think that price does react interestingly at these stacked and balanced levels that form. But you can decide for yourself what to use. I'll show you what I like to use, the stuff that I use every day, the stuff that I'm experimenting with, focusing on different instruments in the futures market. But yeah, I mean, you'll see the same stuff on my chart day over day, maybe some different colors, maybe a different added in tool here and there. But if you go back on all my lives and my stuff from the beginning when I'm trading US indices, since I started putting out content, it's pretty consistent when it comes to just discretionary zones that I mark coming off of highs and lows, areas that have been tested multiple times. Whoa, didn't want to do that. And then my markup for US indices, it's going to be the prior day's low and high, and then it's going to be, which actually coincides with this level right here, is prior day high as well. A pre-market low and high, the low and high for that day leading into the 9:30 a.m. open. You can mark it as the daily high and low. You can call it the pre-market high and low, whatever you want. Usually I only like to go back up until like 1 or 2 a.m. and that's my pre-market high, but high and low. And then sometimes I'll mark off a 15-minute, 30-minute opening range, high or low. I kind of just like eyeball that stuff. I don't like to have too many lines in my charts. I got it on there today because I was paying attention to it as it came up here. And then, again, just discretionary zones above and below where price is trading at the open. Typically, that's when I do my chart markup. I'll utilize that. These can be objective levels. The high and low is the same on my chart as it is on your chart. The pre-market high and low, if I define exactly what time frame it is, it's objective, meaning it's not my opinion. It's just that's where the level is. I find these levels to be really interesting to utilize in my trading. Helps me with market structure, and then again, I just utilize price action. So pretty standard. I like to go through that. The people always want to know the strategy, how I'm trading, and it's pretty basic, man. It's very simple. Market structure, support and resistance, horizontal levels. Now more than ever, VWAP and anchored VWAP, which is a volume weighted average price. This is anchored, they call it the daily VWAP. It's anchored for the session. You could anchor it on the day if you want instead of the session. I find it to be extremely close. I'll usually throw an anchored VWAP, which is just you put the starting point. It's a drawing tool under this projections tab in TradingView. You would place it right at this place that you want it to start. It anchors to whatever that candle is. This would be the 9:30 a.m. open. Late in the day, I don't find it super helpful back here. You can come off of the high with it. The dude who's done a whole bunch on it, oh man, I forget the guy's name that wrote a book, but he's got a whole bunch of videos out on it if you want to use one of those tools. Anyway, we came down to pre-market. We put the pre-market low in actually at the open, right before the open. We pushed right off from that level. It was a little area of consolidation here. Broke past VWAP. I missed the long this morning on the way up. This would have been it. Breaking past, I had a VWAP on here. Yeah, you can see it on this chart. Let's go to the 1 minute here. This was my morning chart, not touched. This really was my indication to get long. I was just asleep at the wheel here. Really was looking for consolidation or potentially a retracement. Probably just a little bit too much bias on my end coming in. This would have been a fine trade for me. Breaking through all of this after putting a nice low in, even a nice retest and then push up. This would have been a super clean one for me. Again, just didn't take it. For whatever reason there. I'll chalk it up to just carrying too much bias in, and it was early on in the session. I'm usually a little bit conservative until that 9:45 time frame, so this would have been a really early jump for me, a couple minutes into the trading day. So that's the other factor there. But this was a nice break and retest of VWAP after coming up, forming some nice bullish structure. That would have played out really nicely for a long. We came right into this level. Again, this was marked on my charts. If you go back in Discord, you can see how this is set for the morning. Reacted really nicely after not putting a fresh high in. This is coming off of this high over here. We just reacted right off the middle ground of this zone, which is kind of drawn as like an order block, as people would call it, an order block, utilizing a candle before the impulsive move down. Maybe a sell somewhere up here, kind of aggressive. This would just kind of be taking the low risk, cheap trade, as we call it, placing a stop loss somewhere up above the high. And if it's going to play out, great. If not, it's going to come and stop you out. Back down towards the daily VWAP, that would have played out pretty nicely. Once we pulled back up, didn't come back up and challenge this, and then started to break below. Had I been on the charts paying attention, which I'm usually not at this time, this would have been a nice trade, right around the break below this low, or this really strong impulsive move, or a break retest, as you could see right here, how this prior day high and pre-market high, which just so happened to line up exactly today off of the levels over here, worked as a potential support here and was used as resistance and then sold all the way off. Another target could have been this pre-market low, which played out very, very nicely, and you could see how now it's finding support right at this level. 1 minute chart, you could see it really, really clearly. So I find ES the S&P kind of interesting. It can be like watching paint dry. It forms very slow. Even though there's a ton of volume that's traded in it, it feels like one of those low volume, low volatility instruments compared to like the NASDAQ and the Dow. But I gotta say, back testing and just trading it, over the recent weeks and days, it really, I find, respects levels very, very cleanly. It respects pre-market. It respects daily highs and lows. Trading it in conjunction with the VWAP and just discretionary levels, highs and lows, common areas that everybody can see on their chart, discretionary. I find it reacts really, really well, at those levels. So it makes for some really nice trading. Another difference for me is I feel like I've got to be a little bit quicker with just entering at that level rather than waiting for an enormous amount of confirmation. I like to trade it on the 1 minute so I can use some price action. But waiting for a lot of price action to tell me it's time, I can kind of get left in the dust. So maybe it's entering at a level, maybe it's scaling into the position. There's some different fine tuning of techniques that you can utilize. But yeah, this is what we're looking at here on ES. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what I saw this morning, how price action and market structure played out with my chart markup. And yeah, right now we've seen it come off this high, back down into the range with some force. Put the fresh low in for the day, broke below the pre-market low, the opening low over here, which is, kind of want to throw a line on there. I don't have to. I can see where it's at right down here. And now has kind of reacted there and is pushing back up. So if this was going to come back down with some force and break to the downside, this may have just been a nice sell to get into. That's what we get, which is nice for staying patient, not just jumping right into a trade down here as it's breaking, because we're pushing way back up to pre-market high now. Let's see how price reacts at this level here. We do have quite a bit of price action when we're looking left, but all the volume for the day, if we threw like a session volume, I'll throw it on there so you guys can see it. For some reason, it's not on here, so I can't use it. I like the session volume profile. Just to take on and off. It's not usually something that I leave on here, but as you can see, it's not available. I can use a volume profile fixed range. That's going to let me draw. Is it? Yeah. All the volume. Again, this is just going to show you the horizontally plotted volume for a fixed range that you saw me just drag from the NYSE open all the way to right where we're at right now. You could do the session as well. You can come way back here at the open of the session for this day and drag it. But as you can see, we've got a ton of volume traded up here, which is pretty obvious. This is where all the price action is, right? Like the volume's not right here, guys. We can assume that just based on how the price action structure looks. So that's why I don't have it sitting on the chart clogging it up all the time. But let's see if we that's enough yapping about that. Let's see if we find some resistance over here. I'm not looking to get short maybe until we come back up here. We check out the session VWAP. We check out the anchored VWAP that I just threw on from the high of the day. Once we get late in the session, there's more volume traded. I find the VWAPs get more and more lagging, so you can anchor them to a session high. The guy's name is escaping me, but there's someone who is like the pioneer of the anchored VWAP. It's on the book too. I'll post it in the chat, but utilizing some of his strategies for using that anchored VWAP can be helpful. Do you need it? No. You can just read price action and market structure. I've found, I don't know if it's just self-fulfilling that ES seems to react and respect them so much. Maybe it's everybody using them. Maybe it's institutions using them. I don't know. But if I find something that's, quote unquote, working for me or helping for me, I'll use it. As you can see, I don't use much at all. So yeah, I'm going to wait for something like maybe a pullback up to this level and then, start to sell off. If we turn right here and start to head back down, maybe we look to get short. Again, obviously you can see this area of lows here that we found a little bit of support. We created a little bit of a range and then broke below that. So we're testing that now. Maybe this is just going to be it for resistance, and shorts from this area would make sense with a stop above here. I just want to see if we come up to this level here, what that would look like, and then maybe we take a sell, just following the half of day of downtrend structure now that we have formed. Really clean up until this point. We did break above that high, but that looks like it was just coming up to stop out anybody who got short in this area, pick it all up, and then dump the market. So a buy off of this level wouldn't have been too bad either, as price came back down, targeting the pre-market high. This is a pretty wide stop loss to have, even if you waited all the way till it got here and started buying before you saw any buying pressure. You could have taken it from this candle here, first indication that, hey, long wick to the downside, and then a nice green candle with a pretty long wick to the downside. Maybe you take it there, stop loss below this level, and you already hit a 1-to-1. Oh, not really, but you'd be getting close. So we'll kind of wait and see how this plays out. If I don't really get a trade in, I'll yap about strategy, entries, and exits. I put a poll in Discord asking what people want to see more of. Live trading was the choice on the first, and then it was strategy, and then entries and exits out of pretty much everything else. I will tell you that that's usually what traders want to see, especially beginners, because they feel that that's the answer to profitable trading. And I'll tell you, that's kind of the easy part. We got some selling momentum here. That's kind of the easy part. The risk management and the psychology is really the defining factor, in my opinion. But it's usually not what people want to hear about. Yeah, like if I was going to scale into positions, which I've been looking at doing because I like to put on more than one contract so I can scale out, doing so as you're coming into the area that you're interested in can get you an entry with a little bit lower risk, right? Because we're not going to put on 2 or 3 contracts here just in case it just continues to blast against us. But it allows you to get into the trade because you might just miss it. It might just turn down from here, and you won't get a chance for it to come up here and react and create the price action that you'd like to see for an entry. So scaling in is another option on here as well. Just throwing some ideas out to you guys as well. What's up, guys? Brother, how are you? Hello, Zach. Relaxing Zen. Andre, what's up, my man? Haven't been active. I feel you, man. Yeah, I've been traveling. Just got back last night. Traveled West Coast for a wedding. If you know, I'm on the East Coast. Try not to dox myself too much. But, it was quite a long weekend for me. But we're back at it again here on Monday. Zach, here's something for you to consider. UTC -4. Mark vertical lines at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Happens a true trend line. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to experiment with that, man. I will have to experiment with that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of looking at specific times on charts. What's up, Orange Toe? How we doing, man? Man says, Ola Z. Yeah, so my man Alpha Spark, who is another trader, focuses on crypto and Bitcoin, I believe. You correct me if I'm wrong, but he runs his own community. I appreciate him being here and helping out and supporting. He says, here's something to look at. On UTC -4, mark vertical lines at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Those are typically where a liquidity move happens that triggers a true trend move. So, once again, utilizing specific times on the chart, especially on things like indices, I find to be really helpful. Marking out that as an area and looking at the trend that develops, the move that develops, the market structure, the price action, I think can be super helpful, which will last for 2 hours at the least most of the time. Yeah, I'll have to go back and take a look at it, man. I'm going to stare at this for right now just because I'm watching how price action develops right here. But that's definitely something that we can take a look at. But yeah, appreciate you guys jumping on. If you got questions, ask them in the chat while we're hanging out watching ES decide what it wants to do from this level. We got Discord in. Cool. Stream looks good too. Yeah, man. We'll see what we get from this area. I mean, we got movement. This came up towards the high. We had a really lot of consolidation. I was kind of thinking that we might just range here. You know, after this move to the upside to challenge this high, maybe come above it a little bit. But we started to come down off of it, and then boom, sold off really hard. Again, another interesting level that I like to look at. This happens to be both the 15-minute and 30-minute. Excuse me, this is not the 15-minute high. What was I looking at with the 15-minute high? Uh, 30-minute opening range high. You know, where price action trades at the time of open to the first 30 minutes of the session. Sometimes an interesting level. You look at the 15-minute. I like to look at what happens right away after the first minute or two. You could see that we had bullish momentum, pushing up right from the beginning of the open. Again, ES a little bit calmer, a little bit easier to work with early on, but I've been traumatized getting in too quick in the first couple minutes of NYSE Open with NASDAQ, and that can go well, but it can go really poorly really fast. So struggling to get above this level right here after a nice swift move back up to the upside. Let's see what we start to get from here. Let's check. Yeah, I like this area up here as an area of interest. You know, I'm going to have to wait and just hang out. I'm not ready for a short just yet. I think we can turn right back down and come back down to test these areas down here. But I'm just I'm going to be playing it patient, waiting. I'm nothing long is speaking to me right now. But a challenge of this high over here coming up to clear up some of this imbalance that you could see on TradingView's footprint chart, and that you could just see from the wide open price action that was traded straight to the downside here. That lining up with VWAP and a nice anchored VWAP that I've got here coming off the high. I think that's an area that I'd like to look at. Also lines up with this zone here, which was just an area of price action, a high that I liked that was above pre-market, that price came back up into. Not really respected really cleanly, but I'm going to leave it on the chart. So I'm going to see if we come up to this area and maybe start to react to the downside. That would give me a short entry. Yep, because it's going to come up above that high right now. There we go, above these 1 minute highs that we're struggling here. Yeah, so let's see what we get. Got pre-market high, session VWAP, and an anchored VWAP off the high. Let's see what we get there. You could also throw VWAPs off the lows, same thing. You know, once you kind of get like a low of day confirmed, like this, maybe go back to the regular VWAP line, which is usually blue, I think, something like that. Just interesting to watch. Again, not something that I'm using exclusively at all, but something that I've found more useful enough for me to keep it. If you go through some of my videos, you'll see things come on and off my chart that I've been testing since really focusing on U.S. indices in the futures market, mainly tools that utilize volume. That's what I like to have added in here to some degree. Just the standard vertical volume, I don't really find it so helpful for me particularly, but a VWAP line has been nice to work with. So we'll kind of wait. We'll be patient. We'll see what we get. We come up to that level. We'll take a look. Maybe we go for a short up there. Yeah, let's see what NQ pull back even harder. Let's get a vertical line on here so I can see what the open was. Ooh. Yeah, NQ put the high in, right? Yep. NQ put a fresh high in. Nasdaq was farther extended on that push up today. S&P found resistance right at this area, but obviously it didn't love it. Came back down, tested it. I mean, this looks much more bullish from this view. Let's see. Maybe I'm just too zoomed in. Yeah, this looks more bullish from the. Yeah. Maybe we just ride this higher. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this late move. Gonna have to wait and see what happens at this level. Because this is looking fairly bullish when we zoom out, which is a good thing to do. I'm glad that I did that on NQ. Just so happened to zoom out because it's less convincing with a real strong reaction after just wicking below this pre-market low area. Would really like to see a turn to the downside and then some momentum before just jumping in. I'm less convinced now looking at these charts from a little bit higher time frame perspective. But if you're on here, I appreciate you being here. If you got questions, trading questions about what we're looking at here, feel free. Ask them in the chat. If you got comments, something you're looking at, feel free. Let me know. Let me know what we're looking at. Fun to watch. Trading Views tilt indicator that they've got down here. It's their proprietary indicator. It's based on top step traders. Whether they're long or short. I think my face is blocking some of it, but in the S&P, it shows 69% long. It's the percent of all top step traders that are long. 31% are short at the moment. So it's stacked to the long side. People are buying, and the guys who were long today, obviously with this move and right now, are positive. Almost the same amount. 70% are positive. Average price it gives you, 53.33. Yep, guys got long on the way up down here. Nasdaq not as aggressive on the long side. Just gonna stay patient. Again, while watching this, really zoomed out, I'm not as sold on the short, man. And honestly, going back and reviewing my trades from last week, longs were working, shorts getting burned. Trying to short this market, even on the low time frames, it really comes down to timing. But I have not done well with it. Being just a bull in this market seems to work really well. If you can find a good spot to get in, as the market's pushing higher on higher time frames, it comes through on the lower time frames. So I'm also grain of salting my my short bias on any of this. 2:47 p.m. Eastern. We'll do the wait and see approach on this right now. But again, guys, if you got questions, feel free. Ask them. If you are not in the free Discord, hop in the free Discord. Link is in the description of the video. It's in my YouTube bio as well. Live trading, market insights every day, talking about news, talking about things that may impact the market for that day, providing analysis like I did this morning. Sometimes some quick overview of what I'm looking at pre-market. Giveaways, giving away, 50K top step accounts. Gave away announced 6 winners of a 50K giveaway last week. So we are kind of getting a reaction here after coming up towards this high, the area that I was looking at. Yeah, I'm not convinced. After looking at this on a higher time frame, guys, I'm not sold on this. I'm really not. This is a hell of an hourly doji candle. Kind of like down here, right? If we look at price action, I'm not so sold that this is going to come back down. Here was its chance to turn, quickly, pull back up, clear up this gap here, and then start to break down again. We didn't do that. I was thinking maybe we do continue here and then swiftly start to move down, but I don't have the conviction necessary to take a trade. The market structure is okay. The downtrend for the later half of the day is definitely intact. This sell-off pushing down below here shows sellers stepped in, but here we are all the way back up to pre-market high. This is not a bad area to look for a trade after we got below it so aggressively, but I just think we have a chance to start ranging, consolidating here. We have a chance to kind of drift back up towards the highs of days without even really challenging them, and I'm not sold on it. Gun to my head, I'm going short with a stop loss, way up here, targeting these lows of the day that were just put in. But I don't have a gun to my head, and I don't have to take a trade. So I'm just going to sit on my hands here. I also have not done fantastically in these afternoon sessions. I like to try to find a trade, especially when we got some movement like this, but I've gotten on the wrong side of it quite a few times. So we got some time. Quite a bit of price action can develop in the next hour while NYSE session is still running. Sellers stepping in a bit here. But we'll hang out. We'll stay patient. Again, if you got questions, feel free. Ask them in the chat. That's what we're here for. Yap about trading. Talk about how I approach the markets, risk management, psychology, entries and exits, all that fun stuff, man. We'll hang out for this one. Let's see. If nothing else, we'll see how some of these anchored VWAPs come into play. Checking NASDAQ, checking Dow. Yeah, Dow, not really in its own world, but somewhat in its own world. We also have a ton of speakers this week that I try not to speculate on the drivers behind everything that's going on in the markets, every price movement in the market. It's not, it's not super helpful in my opinion. You can only focus on so much, right? Especially if we're trading the 1 minute chart. While ES is a little bit slower than NASDAQ, you've got to be selective with the information that you're going to try to process. At least this is my opinion. To be able to move fast enough and, trade in a consistent way, you've got to decide how much you're going to try to figure out and process before you make a trading decision. And having a ton of fundamentals underneath your technical analysis, I don't find it super helpful. I find it more confusing. I find it causes unnecessary biases that can keep you out of the flexibility that you need to operate on the low time frames. Being aware of news and speakers, when they're speaking, and the chance for increased volatility, I think is important. And that's what I'm, mentioning here, that this is somebody speaking, likely answering a question or two, maybe talking about rates, maybe talking about some kind of, financial policy and the market reacting to that. But yeah, if I check my favorite news site, forexfactory.com, yeah, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. somebody was speaking. Boom, right here, big sell-off, 10 minutes into him speaking. But we had a ton, man. 8:45 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 2 p.m. Lots of speakers. FOMC members. Yapping away, causing movements in the market. More tomorrow. Quite a bit more tomorrow. And but no red folder for USD until Wednesday. We get FOMC meeting minutes at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Thursday, I think we get something else. Yep, unemployment claims on Thursday for USD, as well as manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. So forexfactory.com, or hop in the free Discord. I post this stuff every day. Yeah, shorts coming up around this level wouldn't have been so bad. Again, talking about scaling in somewhere down here would be in profit, but this did not come up to the levels that I was looking at. Didn't tap pre-market high. It is reacting off of it, but I don't have an entry just with price action starting to slide like this. And again, looking at this on higher time frame, less convinced that we want to run to the downside. I mean, there is obviously quite a bit of wide open price action to the downside. If we start breaking down here below, we got down below this low, we start trailing down here further. Obviously, we got quite a bit of room to run below Thursday's low. This is Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday's low. And then, we start challenging that. We've got obviously a whole bunch of price action to the downside that we can see. But this to me looks like a lot of consolidation, around these all-time highs. Something I mentioned in the chat, that's just pretty standard technical analysis. If you go back and you look at charts, a lot of times before a big push up, a big breakout, you see a corrective move. You see something to the downside. Price typically doesn't have this nice 45-degree angle where it just blasts through, breaking through a major level and then continuing up. There's usually some correction to the downside, and then the following approach to that prior high, you can see a really, really big breakout. But this obviously, at least for right now, wasn't enough to really reload and then push back through. We had something, some kind of a corrective move. Last week with some of my overnight swing trades, I was expecting this to run farther back down to the downside, maybe see that corrective move before a farther push up. But we didn't get one of those yet. We didn't get a big, deep corrective pullback and then a trail back up, some consolidation before a big blast up. Again, you don't always get that, but it is common. You get the high put in here. It doesn't just continue running all the way up to the upside after consolidation, deep pullback, and then boom, continuation to the upside. Again, you don't always see it, but just standard, price action and market structure. Bruce Lee, what's up, my man? What's up? Back here for Power Hour, looking at ES on the 1 minute. Looking at some horizontal levels, utilizing some anchored VWAPs, some nice fancy colored lines. Yeah, man. S&P got right up here and tested it. NASDAQ cracked above it. Did it put a fresh high in? 48.25. Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Now I've got to actually see. I got 48.25 for the high over here. 49. Almost. NASDAQ cracked above it. Don't know what Dow did, but challenged it for sure, and then came and sold off. Cheap sells right up here if you wanted to take that. I'm not a fan, but would have worked out nice just targeting back down to the VWAP, even if it was going to continue. Yeah, I'm gonna stay patient on this one. Just chill. It looks like it wants to continue down. Again, maybe the further push back up would have given me a short entry if we started to see this type of price action coming right off the high or right off above the high, maybe right to this level here, cracking above this high. That would have given me a little more confidence after seeing so much of the push up that this is indeed going to continue lower. But we're not breaking down below these lows just yet. Maybe we have enough time. Got an hour. Maybe we have enough time to see that start to happen. Come down with some force, and we'll get some conviction to enter a short. That this thing looks like it's got room to run to the downside. Being below this low, but we'll stay patient and we'll wait and see. I think it's somewhat light news. Yeah, light news week. Yeah, nothing too crazy. There's not. It's a bunch of speakers. I just went through it. We got unemployment claims and some flash stuff. Nothing crazy. No NFP, no FOMC, meeting or rate or anything like that. No CPI. We had all that stuff. So pretty light. A lot of times you like a big news event to say, hey man, we're going to start blasting above or below something. But we did have some movement today. I mean, it's overall, came all the way up and then broke all the way back down. So we didn't break out and run to the upside or downside. But there was some opportunity for trading within this, for sure. It wasn't just complete consolidation. Some of this chop can get super frustrating to try and trade. But we'll yeah, I don't really have a setup here. And again, I might run some of these earlier. I might run a morning session or two with you guys on the live. I do like to, focus on that myself. That's my, core trading. But I might run one just so we can get some trading in and maybe some winners, man, because I had some slow afternoon market trades and some losses on this power hour. So I'm being a little bit more conservative. Yeah, it's just isn't doing it for me. But again, we got some time. We'll see. We'll see. If you guys got questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. If you're not in the free Discord, hop in the free Discord, man. Building the best free futures trading Discord. That's my game plan. Trade live with you guys, give you my analysis, show you how things are going for me, the good, the bad, the winning trades, the losing trades, all that fun stuff. Really show you exactly how I approach the markets for free. That's my game plan. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this a little bit, just a little bit longer, and then maybe we'll do a little bit of an educational session. We'll go to a fresh day. We'll run some markup, show you guys, give you another example of how I mark my charts up. Again, everybody wanted strategy, entries and exits, live trading. That was the request from Discord on what you guys want to see more of. So I want to give the people what they want when it comes to the content that I'm putting out. To a degree, I also just want to put out what I think is helpful. If you guys said put a clown hat on and jump up and down, I'd probably pass on that. Want to give you guys what I think is actually helpful to you. Also just the content that I want to make, but the stuff that I think is helpful to make steps towards profitable trading. Bro, opened a swing short on UJ last Monday. Completely forgot about it. And didn't open my MT5 for a week. Missed a massive move. Please show me. I'm interested to see. You opened a USD JPY short. I got to look at that on another chart. Yeah, I really haven't been watching Forex at all, man. At all. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. On Monday you would have caught a huge move to the downside. What's that, like 300 pip move or something like that? And then it trailed all the way back up to entry. That's no fun. I will show you guys something interesting though. Let me hop over to Trading View. I'll show you guys nothing magical, nothing super special. The basics of technical analysis, right? Of using market structure and price action. Take a look at this. This is one of the 4 that I was sharing analysis on the 1 hour and 4 hour chart. If you come over here to the 1 hour, you'll see the last time that I was sharing analysis. I can even show this on the 4 hour. This zone is a simple zone drawn off the highs, right? We broke above this level here. And what was I waiting for? You could see by this arrow right here, probably shared on this day, Wednesday, April 24th, right? A pullback down, a break and retest, you might say, to this level right here, expecting a bounce off of this level. What did we have happen right here? If you had a buy right at these highs, or you waited for some confirmation, maybe some bullish price action that I like to do, a pullback and then some break of structure here above these highs with a stop loss below, you would have been in for a really nice trade to the upside. Again, I didn't take this. I wasn't trading Forex, wasn't swing trading this stuff at this time. But just an example of how market structure and price action, when approached from a really simple, toned down, non-complicated perspective, can play out for some really nice trades. Even after blasting above this, this is a lot of room here, quite a bit. And this is a huge high put in here. We came all the way back down to these highs. Really important level that I felt we were going to come back down to even after being all the way up here when I shared this analysis. I probably would have had a little bit less belief that when we were all the way up here that we're going to make it all the way back down here. But again, old analysis that held true and played out, really, really cleanly. This would have worked out, in one of either ways that you would have taken an entry. Super aggressive with a limit buy, at the zone, or waiting for price action to give you some indication that, hey, we're going to at least stall here. We're going to wick down. We're not just going to blast right through the zone and continue up. But yeah, interesting. My man Bruce Lean said he had a short somewhere over here. Right? Yeah, this is last Monday. missed maybe closing the trade somewhere down here for a really, really big move, and came back up. Yeah, it happens, man. Sorry to hear that. But let's get back over to our friend, the S&P. Interesting, right? Interesting to see this anchored VWAP play out. Again, I'm none of this stuff is magical. It doesn't always get respected. They don't always work out. But again, I'm just, I like to comment when I do see something like this play out. Came all the way back down, and we happen to test this anchored VWAP as support. Really simple. Using these anchored VWAPs, I usually will only go off of, so far, I've gone off of NYSE Open. I find that's a nice spot to place one. You catch the volume in trading right from that 9:30 a.m. or a high of day or low of day. They seem to be used as like a dynamic support and resistance. Or if this was sliced through aggressively, maybe that would be, or I would use that as an indication if I'm taking this into consideration with my trading, that, price is not respecting this at all. It's getting ready to push lower. We start using it as support. It also coincides with where's my box? My rectangle. This area of price action here, right? These highs, last highs that were put in this uptrend. I don't mark off a ton of small levels. I do pay attention to them. I don't mark off every low and high that's put in on the 1 minute chart. I mark them on higher time frames and usually above and below the pre-market range that I mark off. But you pay attention to them. That's just reading price action and market structure. This doesn't look like it's going to continue to me. I'm not sold on it. We're failing to blast down below this level. But again, once we start to get this kind of price action, I don't really have an entry. This would have been pretty nice. Maybe I would have gotten faked out coming down here. I probably would have waited for a pullback up and then a continuation of the downside. Maybe I would have been waiting for this to happen down here, or again, even coming a sell off of this level. Just not on the charts in the middle of the day. That this chunk of time for me is usually not too great. I am considering moving up my afternoon session to like right after New York lunch. They call New York lunch like 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, middle of the day, because a lot of guys go to lunch and volume and volatility dies down. But maybe a little bit earlier after that, because we've seen a lot of movement. If I go back on the charts, right after that 1 p.m. Time frame, right? Here's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. boom, sell off right after that, coming in at 120. Again, we had speakers come right in, here all day. So, the moves can happen at any time. Hi, USD CAD. What is your analysis? What's up, man? You're back in action. I'm not going to do a ton of Forex analysis right now, but if this gets really boring, I will. If you give me, what time frame are you looking at? You want to see the 4 hour? You want to see, the 15 minute? What time frame are you trading, bud? We come back down and break below this low. Maybe this looks to have legs to the downside. We push back up and break above this high, and we start coming above these VWAP lines. Maybe we just trail back up towards pre-market high, the high of the day. This would be pre-market high. But we got rangy here after this move. This looked scary for a minute. This looked like we were getting ready to push lower. Really strong reaction here, but that's normal after a big move. If we came up like this here to this level and then pushed down really hard, we didn't do one of these moves here or one of these moves here. That would have been convincing to look for shorts down into this no man's land, but we didn't do that. We came back up into the range, and now we're just kind of trailing higher. But we'll have to see. I'm going to watch these for a lot longer, the anchored VWAPs, before I really start utilizing them for, kind of like late in the day trading. But if you go back through and you back test with them, I think you'll find it very interesting. Again, definitely not always, not even a really high percentage of the time, but enough to be looked at. You can utilize whatever tools you want. Maybe you like Fibonacci retracements. Maybe you like something else. So whatever speaks to you. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, but something that can help you structure risk, can help you approach the market with some consistency. I don't think any of this stuff has any massive magical predictive power, but define some simple ways that you like to approach the market. Stuff that speaks to me is horizontal levels, primarily market structure, and looking at horizontal levels, from that market structure. That's how it's based, highs and lows. My man says weekly and daily time frames. Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I got you, man. I'm gonna watch how this reacts coming up towards this high, just to see if it gets some aggressive movement in here. Maybe we look for something. And then if not, we'll pop over to GBP USD. We'll take a look at you for the daily. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, interesting level right here above pre-market high and prior day high, which is what I was originally looking for on this one. Now that we put this, higher low in here in conjunction with these, forming somewhat of a trend, not completely right, because, if it was going to follow the trend, this would have been it right here. This one's much lower. But now that we put this in and we trailed back up, I'm much less interested in the short. Again, this is just my discernment of price action and market structure, right? It's very simple. Where are the highs and lows getting put in? What is price doing? Now it's much less clear. If anything, we pushed down, found support down here. We saw it on the higher time frames. It looks, even more bullish. Tried to break above, pulled back down. Now we're going to come back up and maybe break above. If anything, maybe that's given us an indication that this is just going to kind of trail higher towards the end of day here. So I don't really have a setup that I see forming. Not really. So we'll look at some forex stuff. I'm going to throw an alert here. Yeah, I have no alerts. Good. And then breaking up above these highs. I want to know about that. To come back over to the chart. Let's go to a fresh. Let's go to a Wanda. We will get rid of the VWAP. We'll get rid of this. We will make this screen big. We'll go out to the daily. Let's see what we got going on. I had some markings on this chart. So let's zoom way out here on GBP USD, right? On the 1 day. If I go way zoomed out, looking at years of time frame, just to start to get a perspective, we're headed down, right? What I like to look at for the first thing with market structure, are we in a downtrend, right? Are we putting in? I'm going to make this simple, basic, because I think I remember this gentleman from last week, and I think you were a beginner. I'm not 100% sure. We've got lower lows, and then lower highs. And then price coming back down to break these prior lows that were put in. That's what we're talking about with market structure. If we have the opposite, higher highs getting put in without coming back down and breaking below this level here, we have nice normal price action forming to the upside. I would say that we are in an uptrend here, right? Right. That's the basics of market structure. Very simple. If we come in here to the daily a little bit more zoomed in, this would be the end of the year here. This is looking kind of rangy to me. We don't have really clear price action. I would say that we are in somewhat of an uptrend here, but we really haven't pulled. We definitely sold off here. We really haven't pulled up and continued this uptrend structure. And if we look here over the last couple months, from the beginning of, this is 2023. From the beginning of the year, we've kind of been rangy. We came down here. This looked like a pretty solid downtrend, but now we're coming back up, breaking above this high, forming some uptrend structure. So if we zoom in a little bit more, throw just so I know where the beginning of the year is. Yeah, this downtrend is kind of failing now, right? We had a chance to come back up here. Turn off the magnet. We had a chance to come back up here. I see this as a level. All of these lows that were tested. This, order block here. We had, again, support and resistance, order block, supply and demand. I use this stuff interchangeably. So you can call it whatever you want. Horizontal level, area of interest. That kind of encompasses all of it. So I see this as a level here, right? If we were going to continue this downtrend, here was its chance to do so right here. We came back up, tested that. We pushed above this level here. Why didn't we sell off? Why did we come back down and now push above? This even looked like maybe it was just going to crack above it and then continue to the downside, but we failed to do that. So what I see in place here is an uptrend, right? If I'm looking on the daily right now, we're breaking above this high. We've been really bullish, over the last couple days here. If I look at another level, obviously these highs are an area of interest. It's been tested. These lows here, this area here. I don't love this as a zone, but I'll leave it on there for right now, only because it's been traded through like a nightmare over here. If we extend it out, we've got these highs over here. Not that strong. I won't give this a really big vote of confidence the way I like this one that was tested as support multiple times before it broke below, and then tested as resistance over here and then broke above. But we'll look at that as a daily level. We can look at this as a daily level. Again, just looking at tops and bottoms, all of these highs over here, encompassing this set of highs right here. And then, this wick on the 4-hour will probably look interesting. So let's continue our analysis down on the 4-hour. Obviously on the 4-hour, you could see we've got much cleaner price action to the upside here. We've got, nice pushes up, pull back down, pushes up, pulls back down without breaking below these lows. Again, consolidate a little bit here. This was his chance to sell back off. It didn't do that. Continue to the upside. So I would be looking for this uptrend to continue. These are the areas that I would be looking at if I was trading this. Let's keep it on the 4-hour right now. If we go for some 4-hour zones, you've got that area to watch as the lows that were put in almost coincides with this high right here that it pulled back down to, but you do have some wide open price action. Not really. This was traded back and forth through. If we drop down to the 1-hour, this looks bullish to me. This looks bullish for the near term, looking at the 4-hour and the daily. I don't think that there's a really high time frame, bearish trend that we say this is going to turn from right here. It's obviously at a zone, so I'd be looking to trade, from this area. It's breaking above this set of highs. Looks like it can move up from here, right? Because, here would be the set of highs. When I'm looking at market structure, I like to see this type of market structure. Here's the very standard, basic, elementary market structure that you'll see. Price breaks above a high, right? Comes down, breaks above a high, breaks above this high right here, pulls back down to around that high. Maybe it comes all the way back down here, but it stays above this level. So when we mark out price action and market structure, we could expect moves to occur, like this. What the hell? Let's get rid of all this. So I see that happening right here to a degree. We certainly have this, which looks like some wide open price action. It's also just the type of market structure that I pay attention to. When there's big impulsive moves like this, price often likes to come back and trade across this area to maybe the level of support again. So I'd be watching for this to potentially continue, right? Because we broke above, not with a whole lot of force. We tested this. We kind of consolidated. Maybe this continues up here. Buys from this area with stops below this are potential. Maybe we want to pull back down further into this area, stay above this area, and then continue to the upside here. But I wouldn't be taking shorts from the higher time frames on this. I'd be looking bullish for sure. From right here, it's a tricky area. I don't know that a pullback like this is likely. But yeah, that's my analysis. I'll leave this on here, and then we can come back to it in a couple weeks or in a couple days. Something like this, I think, is possible. Something like break below these lows. I think the next area that I'm watching is right here, is possible. And if I drop back out to the daily, maybe from the daily we say, hey man, we got to come way back down here and test these highs and lows. This is definitely a major area. This was traded across, but maybe we want to see if we can hold this area of support here before continuing up. We get down below these lows. I think it's likely to continue down to this area here. We start breaking all the way down here and not really reacting quickly. Quick pullback and then impulsive move up. Then maybe we're making a case for a downtrend to continue. But right now, this is looking bullish, right? We've broken above, broken above this high right here. If this continues, we get above this high, it will continue to make the case that, higher prices are in store. So that's my analysis, brother, on GBP USD. I hope that helps. Not much from my friend ES, but jump back over, clean this back up. Let's look at, this is going to be an old marked up chart. This is not today's stuff. Yeah, not a whole lot, man. I'm not going to do all of them, my man, but you can use that as a frame of reference. You saw how I went from higher time frame to lower time frame, identifying the overall market trend, identifying the zones, the areas of interest that I would like to see, and then, forming some areas that I think price may or may not move to, where we can structure risk, if price is going to continue moving with regular, quote unquote, regular price action and market structure, you could see how I would potentially trade that. What direction I'd be looking to trade in, and then maybe how I would structure some trades. But I'm not going to break down through every Forex pair for you. But I gave you GBP USD, so you're welcome. And again, hopefully that helps. On this one, man, I'm not really seeing a setup. So I think rather than calling it, I think what I might do is just give you guys another markup on. I'll just save it. We'll do a morning one, and I'll give you the markup because I broke this down pretty clearly to you guys earlier on. If we go through it again, guys, always want to know about entries, exits, the strategy overall. It's marking zones, area of interest first from a higher time frame, right? Maybe it's the 1 hour. We take a look, just like we did on the Forex pairs. Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? This, to me, looks like an uptrend, right, guys? We're in an uptrend. More recently, we've been consolidating, a little bit of rangy price action. From there, price was trading here this morning. I'm going to mark some levels below price action, zones, areas of interest, and above price action that I want to pay attention to in case price starts moving up or down. Then, once I have those zones marked out, I can do it from the 5-minute. I throw a 930 line on here. I mark my pre-market high. Pre-market meaning, look down here at the time frame, right? This is yesterday. This is the 19th. From the time that it's traded, since we're in here Monday, usually I start to look back between 1 and 2 o'clock. Where is the high of the day that's put in? Right here. This would be my pre-market high. Where's the pre-market low? Here's the low. I also like to know where is the high of prior day and where's the low of prior day. You can do that really easily. If you don't want to mark it on the lower time frame, you can do it really easily by going to the daily chart and marking out the prior day high and low. Prior day low right here, you can see. We got highs. From there, I have a VWAP line on here, and then I throw an anchored VWAP here at the 9:30 a.m. open. Like I said, sometimes you can see on my other chart, I'll go with a low of day VWAP, anchored VWAP, or high of day anchored VWAP, or a low of day anchored VWAP. I'll then wait for the market to open. And again, I'm applying that same thing that you saw me mark up on GBP USD to this lower time frame. I'm watching how the market opens. Do we open bullish or bearish? Do we break out? I'm going to get rid of this. Do we break out from the pre-market range to the downside or to the upside? That can start to give you an indication for what price is going to do. Are sellers stepping in heavy first thing in the morning, dragging this price lower? If they are, and we start to break below the pre-market low, like we did to a little bit here today, maybe we see price continue down, pull back up to that pre-market low, another level in here, the VWAP line, find some resistance, and then start to continue lower. Maybe I look for a short. Today, again, I was a little bit slow to the punch, not taking these longs. We found support right here at the pre-market low after just breaking below and pushed up pretty hard, right? Like these are 5-minute candles. This is some momentum on ES. We broke above the VWAP line and the anchored VWAP line. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the 1 minute. We broke above, still on the 1 minute, this is fine. Broke above the VWAP line, found support at it really quickly, pushed up off of it, again, kind of came down, found a little bit of support staying above it, and then continued to push up. Any one of these would have been a fine entry for me. Again, for me, if I have to dig deep down and journal, which I do after every trade and every session, I'm gonna go with, I was a little bit too strong my bias to the downside. From a higher time frame perspective, looking at this market consolidating around pre-market highs, I'm sorry, around all-time highs, watching this, little bit of downtrend structure in the pre-market. And then again, testing the lows here, putting the lows in. I was expecting this to be moving lower today. That was my bias that I came in with. Worked against me because we cranked to the upside. Also, I'm coming from NASDAQ and Dow, where I really like to stay conservative in the first 15 to 30 minutes. It used to be 30, but I bumped it down to 15. Now on ES, I'll get involved a little bit earlier, but that kept me out here as well, right? We're only a couple minutes into trading, blasting above this. A lot of times you just get some wild price action. It's better to just kind of wait for an opening range to form, a 15-minute, 30-minute opening range to form, and then try to take breakouts from that area. For me, maybe getting involved a little bit earlier on ES would have worked well, because this is the strategy. This is the approach right here. How would I have structured risk on any one of these trades if I took it from what in dear Lord? I don't have my favorites tool up here. If I took it from down here, let's say I waited. I wanted to see, price pushed off from here. We consolidated a little bit and we broke above these highs. I say, okay, we got bullish price action. Check. This is looking good. We're moving to the upside. We're breaking above the VWAP line and we're holding above it. We're pushing higher than recent price action in pre-market. Everything is telling me that I think we're at least going to come up to this pre-market high or potentially break above. I might structure a trade like this with a stop loss below the low. I waited. I didn't enter right here at the VWAP line, which you can do. Much more aggressive of an entry and lower probability. You get a much better entry and you could have a cheaper trade, right? Because you could say, hey, if it comes down here, I want to be out. If you're waiting for it to come all the way up here, you definitely don't want to see it come all the way back down here. That would be invalidating the trade idea, right? You see the momentum, you want to see it continue up. Maybe we would have gone for something like this, a break above pre-market high into this zone. Maybe we're exiting and entering on, we're managing the trade on price action and market structure. If we see it start to turn, we can cut it early. We can go stop loss to break even. We can scale in and out of the trade. The way that I trade is discretionary, and the way that I believe if you're going to be a profitable trader, you do have to apply some discretion and intuition to your trading. It's what I see almost every professional trader that turns a profit consistently do. It's my opinion, but that's what I believe works. So I don't have rules-based set to say at 9:35, if that candle's bullish, I enter with a stop loss, 1.5 ATRs below the low. No, I use price action and market structure, maybe VWAP, my horizontal level, simple tools, as you can see me talking about here, to structure my risk, structure my trades, trade in the direction of price action. But again, I missed this trade myself today, so there's that. As we came up here, shorts off of this level were looking pretty good. Something like this could have worked out nicely. Maybe it's an aggressive entry right off of this. Maybe you waited a little bit for price to start to break down below here. Maybe you waited for it to get back down, find support, and then start to sell off like we talked about. But again, just utilizing market structure and price action itself in conjunction with these levels to be able to structure risk and, form a trade that over time will work out maybe around the 50-55% of the time, pretty average win rate, and be able to make a little bit more on your winners than you lose on your losers. That's the overview, man. That's really it. No magic, nothing amazing. Finding some stuff that works for me personally that I like to use. Keeping things really simple, really ridiculously simple. Yes, sometimes I'm also checking the footprint chart, looking at some stacked imbalances, some things like that. Maybe I check to see what other markets are doing. Just little tidbits of information. But as a whole, if you're starting out, focusing up and keeping things super simple, making some rules for your risks. I'm not talking about risk management. We're just talking about strategy, entries, and exits on this. Knowing how much you're going to risk per trade. What your stop loss is going to be, how many contracts you're going to put on, when you might move your stop loss to break even, things like that, extremely important. But yeah, that's the baseline here with an example from today, how I mark the charts, trades I'd be looking for, And again, we're talking power hour. We're watching the magical anchored VWAP line. So NQ pushing a little better than ES. VWAP being different on TSX and TradingView is mad annoying. Yeah, man. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, brother. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Bruce Lean. Let's look at NQ, and then I'll respond to my man. Yeah, NQ pushing, man. This is an old markup, so we could disregard this. But NQ moving. Again, NQ put the high in. NASDAQ put the high in for sure. Broke above with some force here, pulled back down, and then continued its move. So this is nice bullish structure to the upside. ES is really not following suit at all. So we got some divergence there. Mario, you are welcome, my man. Favor Cipollini or Cipani. I can't pronounce people's names, so I won't even try. Bro, I already explained what I'm doing, and I don't appreciate you demanding that I do more. I feel like I give quite a bit out. I answer questions from the chat. I analyze the charts that you guys want to see. The excuse that you're not able to do what I'm doing because you don't use small time frame and you don't use support and resistance, I don't know what to tell you there. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but I'm certainly not going to be your personal, chart marker upper every day to do your technical analysis every morning. So, find what you're going to use and then just stick to that. Please don't keep asking for the same stuff over and over again and spamming the chat. Again, I appreciate you being here. I want to help you out the best I can, but I can't just trade for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll do my best to hold your hand and answer questions and show you how I analyze charts, but that's the point. It's not to be done for you. It's to show you how I do it, answer questions, clarify, and then enable you to do it yourself. So, you have to take ownership of your trades. You have to learn how to do this. Copying somebody else or having somebody else do it for you, maybe it works for a day, but it's not going to work long term. So, I would encourage you to go back and rewatch this video if you want. It's posted on YouTube after I close out, and you can learn how to do this yourself. You can practice. You can throw TradingView in replay mode. And you can go back and mark your charts up, and then watch how price reacts, and then you can you can go from there. I'm laughing at my man. I like the famous question we had about when is the giveaway. When is the giveaway? Yeah, if you don't use the same strategy, why keep asking for analysis? Yeah, thanks guys. But yeah, when is the giveaway, guys? Someone came in here yelling mad times, spamming the chat. When is the giveaway? But yeah, that's my answer there, guys. But listen, I do my best to help everybody out in the best way that I think that I can. Doing it for you 100 times over is not going to help you. Certainly, like Bruce Lean said, not going to help you if yeah, you guys make me laugh. Not going to help you if you don't use that strategy. So, yeah, this is kind of slow for me, guys. This is not really giving me much. Seeing a little bit of an ugly move like this going on. Maybe we call it a wedge. Just kind of consolidation, rangy movements. Again, I like watching the markets. I like, putting anchored VWAPs on things and just watching how things play out and, spending more time on the charts, but I don't see myself getting a trade. This again was it. I just wasn't on the charts, and I would have had to have been on here, a little bit earlier than right at 1:30 when this is happening, because then it's too late. But this would have been the trade. The pullback up here, and then the strong momentum to the downside, or an aggressive entry off of one of these levels. But as we're slicing through, VWAP and levels and lows for the for the session. This would have been the trade to the downside here, and it would have played out pretty nicely. But now with this going on, maybe we get that, 350 move, but I just don't have anything in me. So a slow one, man. A no trade afternoon. Again, I'll run something in the morning. I'll try to run, no guarantee that I'll take one, but I'll try to run something around a time where we can get some trading in, so you guys can see the wins, the losses. You can, physically watch the execution, the entries and exits. I explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and be able to answer questions, as it's happening in real time. But I still feel that coming on here and explaining what I'm seeing and maybe why I'm not taking a trade, or what I'm watching for, what I'm waiting for, what's lining up for me, can display, my approach, my strategy, all of that fun stuff. You don't get the execution, you don't get the scaling in or out, maybe the, the trade management side of it, but you get quite a bit from it. So with that, thank you guys for being here. If you liked this video, you enjoyed the live stream, hit the like button, maybe. If you didn't, feel free not to. If you're not in the free Discord, feel free to hop in the free Discord, man. Live trading, market insights, educational sessions like we're talking about. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Someone else said thank you. A whole bunch of stuff. Q&A, you could ask me questions in Discord all day, man. I do my best to answer everybody. You could share charts, talk about your trading ideas. We are trading on a lot of the same platforms. Top Step X was having an issue this morning. We had guys saying, hey, man, what's going on with Top Step X? I happen to be watching the live. I usually run their live stream in the background. Try to catch all the free resets that I also promote in Discord, so you guys can catch them as well. Put everybody on as much free game, as the kids say. But we're able to talk about that. Say, hey, man, my chart looks okay, but here's what they're saying. There's some kind of, API or connection issue going on. So, it can be beneficial in a lot of different ways to have a community of traders. So that's the game plan. So, guys, I'm going to cut it here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Again, hop in Discord. I'll talk to you then. If not, live trading all the rest of this week. We'll try to get some action going here on these live streams. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good evening.